Hi everyone. Hello, it's Pauline Hatch here. I'm back again. Thank you so much for jumping on a little bit later tonight. I know that it's 45 minutes later than normal. Thanks for being accommodating. Every now and then on a Thursday night, I have band practice and I have to work around that. And I know we're talking about adrenal fatigue tonight. And if you've wanted to jump on and watch this and you're like, oh my gosh, woman, I'm so tired and you're making me wait up even later to watch it. Sorry. But thank you for being patient and jumping on a little bit later than usual. So yes, we are going through part 2 of adrenal fatigue tonight. So I did do one last week that you are welcome to go back and watch. It's on my Facebook feed, and it is also in the group. If you're part of our group, it's in there as well for you to watch. If you're jumping on, you can say hello. I love to know that my peeps are on and interacting and I'm not out here by myself. So hi Missy and Sam and Silvana, lovely to see you girls and Guy on here. Yeah, so you can say and contribute whatever you like to this conversation. I'm happy to answer questions as we go along. If you've got input, chuck it in. This is a conversation, it's a discussion. So yeah, I'm really happy for everybody to share their stories and things like that too, because it's not all about me. I'm just here to be the conduit of information to try to help you guys to just live your best life. Like that's what I really want out of all of this. That's why I get on here and I'm not watching Netflix. I'm doing this because I really want you guys to succeed and feel the best that you can feel. So, and adrenal fatigue absolutely sucks the life out of you. I know what it's like. I had it for so many years. I think I probably had it full on for about 7 years, and it's only been the last 2 that I have felt like I've gotten on top of it. And it's from following this exact protocol that I'm about to give to you. So stay tuned. Let's keep going. Okay, so quick recap. Adrenal fatigue. So let's just quickly go through what adrenal fatigue is. I don't want to recap too much on what I spoke about last week because you can just go back and watch that. But adrenal fatigue is when our body has been consistently producing far too much cortisol. So cortisol is our stress hormone. When your body is in a state of chronic low-grade stress through different factors in life, just modern day stress or trauma or something like that, then your body is consistently producing far too much cortisol to cope with that level of stress. And then after a while, your adrenals give out and go, dude, I've got nothing left. And they start to feel very insufficient and they start working as well. And that's when we get adrenal fatigue. So the symptoms of adrenal fatigue, now I'm going to give you the whole program that I went through. There's 5 steps to it. And the coolest thing about what I'm about to share is that even as I was putting it together, I was going, this is so easy and obvious. People are going to watch it going, why am I wasting my time watching this? It's honestly so easy, and you can start doing it tomorrow. Like that's how easy this protocol is that you can follow. You have all the resources to do it and start doing it tomorrow and getting your energy back and restoring yourself. So that's the best thing about it, is how easy and accessible it is for anyone and everyone. You guys can do this. There is a group that I invited some people into last week, and it's been amazing. If you want to be part of that group, it's got some awesome info in there around all this sort of stuff and more. There's lots of free recipes, things like that. If you want to join that group, I'm in there as well, obviously. Just pop in a yes please or something in the chat, and I'll send you an invite to it and you can jump in, and there's lots of people answering questions in there and stuff as well. But let's talk about the symptoms of adrenal fatigue quickly. Hi, I'm seeing lots of people on. If you're on, you can give me a wave or hello or something like that. Hi, Nicole. Lovely to see you again. Hi, Alison. Good evening. Okay, so let's go through some symptoms of adrenal fatigue. If you, I don't know how many times you can do like buttons, but if I read one out and you think, oh, that's me, just chuck on a like. Or, I don't know, put something in the comments. Like, it's helpful for me to see how much you guys are relating to these symptoms. Because a lot of these symptoms are pretty general and they can relate to lots of other things. But the cool thing is that the protocol to fixing a lot of it is the same as this. So just keep watching, because even if you've only got 1 or 2 of these, then honestly, what we're about to talk about will help. So stick with it. Let's go through. Okay. Need for excessive sleep. So this is one of the biggest ones. Basically just a feeling of being exhausted all the time. And it doesn't matter how much you sleep during the night, you wake up feeling like you have not slept. I know for me, for years and years, I woke up feeling like someone had been boxing my eyes during the night. I had almost like actual pain around my eye area. Like someone was punching me. You know how they say you feel like you've been hit by a bus? I felt like I'd been hit by 74 buses through the night. So that's how I felt. That's need for excessive sleep, feeling like you need to sleep all the time and that no amount of sleep is ever enough to get rid of that tired feeling, that eyeball rubbing, tired feeling. Wired and tired. So the feeling that you're really tired, but when you try to sleep, your brain activates. Who feels like that at night? Brain fog. Who has brain fog? Low stamina. So by the time you get to the middle of the day or the afternoon, you are crashing and all you can think about is your couch and your pillow. Decreased tolerance to cold. I still have that, so I don't know. That might just be a personal thing. Poor circulation. Low blood pressure and dizziness when you stand up. Apathy or depression. I had that. Joint aches and pains and muscle weakness. I don't think I had that. Gas, bloating and reflux. So a lot of people who have symptoms of adrenal fatigue actually also have symptoms of IBS because it affects our digestive system so much. Like you think about when you have to do something that you're really uncomfortable with, like if you have to go speak on stage, does anyone else get like the runny poos just beforehand? Like I do, because it, like the stress that you feel externally affects your internals. So that happens, and that can happen to people. Yeah, people are laughing at me. So yeah, that can happen. We can end up with symptoms of things like these chronic digestive issues because of things like chronic stress and things like that. A few people have jumped on. Hi, Anushka and Fiona and Adele. Hey, Adele. I was meant to be a smiley face. Hi, Olga, Lisa. Hi, Olga. Okay, what was I up to? Hormone imbalance is another one. Hair loss. Okay, so when I started doing this, about 6 or 8 months after I started doing this, I had so much hair growing that I could literally make a ponytail with the hair that was growing under my neck. Like I could pull it into a ponytail. It was insane. And that I have literally double the amount of hair than I had before. And I can show you photos. They're phenomenal. So I definitely had hair loss. Sweet and salty food cravings, poor immune response. So if your immune system is sluggish and you get sick a lot, irregular heartbeat or palpitations, and emotional sensitivity, which can be crying or it can be flying off the handle at anything. And that was definitely me too. Nicole says, yes, nervous poop. Yeah. I'm glad it's not just me. So those are the symptoms. You don't have to have all of them to have adrenal fatigue. You might only have one or two. Some might be stronger than the other. But a lot of people who have chronic problems, things like, chronic fatigue and stuff like that, do have adrenal fatigue as well. And you can test for adrenal fatigue with a saliva cortisol test. If you go to a GP, and actually I had someone bring up an interesting point during the week. She left a comment saying that her doctor said adrenal fatigue isn't real. And there's a really awesome doctor who specializes in things like adrenal fatigue. His name is Dr. Mark Hyman. And he says, and this is his words, not me, I don't have anything personally against doctors or anything like that, but he says that GPs, those kind of doctors in that medical arena, are not trained to recognize adrenal fatigue. They will only recognize Addison's disease, which is when your body stops producing cortisol completely, or Cushing's disease, which is when your body produces so much cortisol that it's like crazy. So, but they don't recognize that time in between. They're just not taught that, and they're not taught to recognize chronic stress and poor diet as being contributing factors to disease. So those are his words, not mine, but that's why. And I found that too. I went to 4 different GPs when I was really sick. Not a single one of them ever asked me about my diet except alcohol and the cigarettes. That's all they would ever ask me. No one ever pointed me to a nutritionist. No one ever pointed me to anything that had anything to do with my diet or the way I was living. They just kind of did some blood tests, and I had one who said, sorry, I can't help you anymore. I had one who said, diagnosed me with having 3 kids. Like literally he said, you're anxious because you've got 3 kids. And I went, well, Dara, I already knew that. And it wasn't until I went and did my own research and started doing this stuff that everything changed for me. So again, nothing against doctors, but there is a chance that they will say they don't even know what you're talking about. So the saliva test you can do is, this is the one I did, and I actually meant to get it and I forgot. I'll put it in the comments. They test your saliva 4 times throughout the day. You have to spit into this tube and send it away, and they send back the results. So I actually have my results still, and I posted them up on a comment somewhere, and I can't remember where, but I can find that again and post it. But you can see on mine, I think they were taken in 2015 or 16, maybe 2016. And you can see on the graph, it goes from like red, orange, green, orange, red, and my cortisol levels are barely above orange at each stage of the day. So I was just barely above the minimum threshold for having that, where the cortisol should be at that time of day. So people can say it's not real, but the fact is I know my adrenals weren't working properly, and I know I feel much better now. So something changed. Okay, there are so many comments, I'm missing them. How do you test for it? Oh, Alison, I just answered that for you. Diagnosed with 3 kids. Yep, that's exactly what he said. Yeah. It's hard worthwhile. Yeah, to do your own research. Yeah, it absolutely is. Yeah, for sure. And doctors still have their place. They're so awesome. But yeah, sometimes with things like this, it comes back to looking at what's going on in your life and fixing it up. So, okay. So last week we talked about there's 2 major contributors to adrenal fatigue. There's stress, chronic stress, and there's nutritional excesses and deficiencies. So if you want to hear about the stress one, go back and watch last week's, because I go through a few things that you can do, some rituals you can put into place, things you can look for, and what impact this chronic stress. So when I'm talking about chronic stress, I'm talking about modern day stress, where we are on all the time. We're on our phones, we're at work, we've got our kids, we're on till the second we go to bed, and we get up and we're on all day. So those are what I'm talking about, chronic stresses. There's trauma as well, which can also create real problems in your with the stress load on your body as well. But a lot of it is that chronic stress that's going on all the time, that it's going on for years and years and years and years. Like, who else knows what I'm talking about? Because I know mine started not long after my kids were born. When my son was 6 months old is when I first started feeling it. And part of that, if you've got kids, tell me how many kids you've got in the comments, and go back and watch last week's, because I do talk about why it's really, really common for mums to have adrenal fatigue. So tell me in the comments how many kids you've got. I'd love to see if anyone else would be diagnosed with having kids as their problem. Okay, so all right, so stress manifests in our body as tension, it manifests as inflammation, it manifests as oxidative stress, which forces our body to release more of those that stress hormone cortisol, which is what then eventually our body goes, I can't produce this anymore, and it starts to burn out, it tires out, it becomes insufficient, and it's not enough. So your cortisol, your adrenal glands, they have a few different jobs, but they regulate they're your stress hormones, so they help your body cope with stress, but they also regulate your blood pressure, and they help to regulate your blood sugar levels as well, and they also help to set your circadian rhythm. So that's the hormone that happens mostly in the morning, like it's highest between 8 and 10 in the morning, and then it slowly goes down during the day. By the time you go to bed, you're at your lowest amount of cortisol, and that's what allows you to go to sleep. So that's why there is no amount of sleep in the world that will ever make you feel better if you have adrenal fatigue, because the problem is not sleep deprivation. The problem is that your body is not producing the hormone that makes you feel awake. So even though I often felt like I just wanted to pack a bag and go and sleep somewhere by myself for like 2 months, that would never have fixed the problem, because that is not the problem. Sleep deprivation is not it, because you can sleep for 10 hours and still wake up feeling tired because your body's not producing what it needs to produce. Okay, so go back and watch the stress one if you want to. So the other one is nutrition, and they kind of go hand in hand, because when you are living in chronic, Nicole says one a dog and a man-child. That's a good one. I like that, Nicole. So when we are eating, when we're stressed, our body's digestion slows down. That's what I was saying earlier about we sometimes get IBS and different things like that going on in our stomach. It's because when we're stressed, our digestive system slows down, and that means our body is not actually absorbing nutrients at full capacity. So not only are you, you might be eating a certain amount of fruits and vegetables, and almost no one's eating enough, so it's probably already deficient, and then your body's not able to absorb what it should be getting, so you're even more deficient because of your stress. So you need to work on both, but nutrition is so fundamental. It's so fundamental that I would say that it's the first thing that you should work on. Okay, so what we end up being in is this cycle. So when you're tired, and you can tell me in the comments what your go-to is. When you're tired, what do you go to for that quick burst of energy? So for a lot of people, it's coffee. And then for other people, it's Red Bull. And for someone else, it's going to be, I don't know, chocolate. And for someone else, it's going to be a donut every afternoon, right? That really quick energy spike, that's what we go for. And what happens when we're eating those kinds of foods is that it's pushing up your blood sugar level. And what regulates your blood sugar level? Well, your adrenal glands do. So you're forcing your body to do even more to regulate your blood sugar again. So you're also forcing your body to pump out adrenaline and insulin to be able to like fix this massive crash that just happened in your body. So every time that you're eating one of those foods that you think is giving you energy, you're actually forcing your body to do the one thing it cannot do well anymore. And you're just going a step back and a step back and a step back. So this is why nutrition plays such an important role, because every time you choose something to eat when your body is already struggling to produce even its most basic hormones to keep you going during the day, every choice you make will either take you a step forward towards energy and health, or it will take you a step backwards towards exhaustion and further chronic illnesses. Because all that stress that's going on in your body, that oxidative stress, that inflammation, those are precursors to chronic diseases. So a lot of people who have symptoms of things like adrenal fatigue and chronic fatigue syndrome go on to have chronic illnesses, autoimmune diseases, really terrible stuff, cancers, things like that. So it's really important that we work on both, because your body is giving you signals right now that something's wrong and we need to fix it before it gets worse, okay? And now is a good time to do it before it gets worse, because you can reverse it at this point. Okay, we've got to stop the cycle, this tired, quick fix cycle that we tend to go through. Hi, Katie. Hi, Kelly. Hi, Anita. Hi, Anne-Marie. Hi, David. Could hormones or lack of them in menopause cause your adrenal fatigue to be out of whack? Because many of the symptoms you talked about are also symptoms of menopause. A lot of the symptoms are symptoms of a lot of different things, but hormone imbalance is one of them, because your adrenal glands do produce your hormones. They produce heaps of them. So it wouldn't surprise me if it's all linked in some way. And menopause, I just heard a talk the other day, a doctor who's a specialist in women's health talking about menopause. And yeah, she was saying it's pretty terrible, but there are things that you can do. So maybe we should talk about that. I can put you in the group and tag you in her video. You would probably find it really, really interesting, because she does talk about women all the way through from like very young to post-menopausal. Maybe we'll do that. That would probably be better coming from her. And hi, Narissa, as well. Okay, so stopping the cycle. So what happens is, basically, if you have adrenal fatigue, you're stressed out and you're underfed on all the good stuff and you're overfeeding on all of the bad stuff. That's pretty basically what it is. They're the things that you need to reverse. So your responsibility is to change the way you live, but you can do it in small steps. The first brick that you have to lay is nutritional. And I know that when you're really tired and you're dragging your feet through the day, the last thing you want to do is like change your life, because you're barely functioning as it is. But I can tell you it's worth it. But that's why I say do this in small steps. You don't have to like overhaul your entire life tomorrow, because you may not even have the energy, mental clarity, or a stamina to even do that. Oh, I've got some comments, Nicole. Coffee but takeout is my fatigue fix, so I don't have to cook. Okay, so I'm going to talk about that a little bit, Nicole, as well. Okay, so if we fix our nutrition first, this is why, even though we've got to fix everything, I think nutrition is really fundamental, because once you start to fuel your body really well and cut out the garbage, you actually find that a lot of the things that are making you feel more tired than the hormones can account for is stuff that can be fixed by getting more nutrition in and feeding your body. So things like mental clarity starts to come back. You might find that you can get through the afternoon without needing to have a nap or feeling really exhausted. So there's a lot of things that can actually start to be fixed just from that nutritional level, and that will allow you to then have the mind space and clarity to work on the stuff that's stressing you out. Because when you are really tired, how much more stressful does everything in your life feel? Exactly like what you were saying, Nicole, like making dinner just feels like the world's biggest chore. So you just go out and get takeout. It's the cycle that happens. You're too tired to fix it, so you go for the quick fix, and that perpetuates the cycle even more. So I really think nutrition is a great way to start, because it is something you can start doing tomorrow. And then from there, I'll go through the 5 steps in a second, but you build from there. But I do think nutrition is really fundamental. That's where I started. And I found that was the easiest way for me to do it. Yeah, so you can't do one without the other, but that's where I would start. Okay. When I started eating like this, I'm about to go through the 5 things. When I started doing this, I found 3 weeks in, so when I did this, I committed to myself that I would do it for a year, because I knew that it had taken a really long time for my body to break down the way it did. I said, I'm going to do this for 12 months and see how I go. And no one was more surprised than me when 3 weeks in, I had my first day where I was standing in my kitchen and I was making dinner, and it was 6 p.m. and I felt really tired. And I thought, but hang on a second, it's 6 p.m. and I haven't thought all day about having a nap. Not once that whole day had I thought about going and lying on the couch. When previous to that, every single day for years, my whole life had revolved around thinking the next time I could lie down. So that was huge for me. I was so surprised by it that I didn't even tell anyone. I didn't tell my husband. I was like, I don't want to jinx it. And then about a week later, he said to me, we were hanging up clothes in our wardrobe, and he said, do you think that you like are less tired? And I went, yes, I'm hanging clothes up and I'm not dying on the floor. Like, this is amazing. So it definitely works. And then, yeah, it just went, as I worked more on what I was doing, it just got better and better and better. And I tuned into my body as well. Like, I can tell now when stuff is too much for my body. It takes a while to recover from adrenal fatigue, and I can always tell if I'm pushing my body too hard, especially with exercise. I tried to get back into like weight strength training a few months ago, and I could tell straight away that was too much. But I can run, I can walk, run 5K, and I'm fine, but I can't do strength stuff just yet. That's okay. I'm cool with that. Everything is great, and I'll just allow my body to keep healing the way that it wants to heal. And that's okay too. You know, it takes a while to get sick and it takes a while to get better. Just got to give your body the space. Guess what I'm going to bring out? I'm going to bring out my whiteboard. I don't know why, I just thought it would be kind of fun to do this tonight this way, just for something a little bit different. Okay, so are you ready for the 5 things? This is what you need to do. This is going to mess up my life. And hopefully this is not backwards. I can never remember if it's backwards for you guys in Facebook land or not. Maybe I'll draw pictures instead of writing words. Okay, so the first thing, the first brick we're going to lay, okay, is, let's see how good my drawing skills are. I'll write this one. Your plan. Again, everyone who's super tired goes, oh my gosh, I do not have the energy to do a plan. But why this is so important is that when we, exactly what Nicole was saying, when we don't have a plan, we go for the fastest, quickest option, and we will eat things that we shouldn't eat. But if you have a plan and you have some preparation happening, not only will you have more chance of sticking to the plan that we're about to talk about, but you'll actually find it takes a lot of stress off you through your week. If you know that you have planned certain fast, healthy dinners for nights when your family has a really, big afternoon or whatever, then you know the whole time you're out, you don't have to sit there thinking, what am I going to get the kids? How am I going to do that? Do I get KFC? I don't want them to eat KFC. Now I feel really guilty and stressed, but I can't be bothered cooking. All of that goes because you know you've got the stuff there, it's done. You know you've got a slow cooker meal tomorrow organized, and then that's going to feed the kids for the next 2 nights, and you can make something else out of that, something else out of that. The mental load that you will take off your week just by spending 30 minutes planning what you're going to eat, planning your week out, massive. That is actually going to take care of a lot of things for you just in this planning stage. I do have a really good blog that's all about meal planning for saving money and time that I can put the link of in here. Just a few of my tips. I meal plan every week. The weeks that I don't do it, I feel like a wreck. I don't know what I'm doing, and we do end up eating rubbish. We got pizza the other night because I had no plan. And my husband's like, let's just get pizza. And I went, okay. Like, because I had no plan. Like, that's terrible. Okay. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. Oh, I don't know. It doesn't matter. You guys know, I'm just human, right? Okay, so yeah, and know the purpose behind your plan. So that's why you make this plan with the purpose that you are going to get your energy back. You are going to get yourself back, because if you don't change stuff, then nothing's going to change. Your next few years will look like your last few years, and you'll be the same tired person functioning at half capacity. So plan knowing your purpose in mind, that you are doing this to bring yourself back and get back what you've lost, okay? That's what we want for you. We want you to be, well, I say we, but I want you to just feel incredible. And I know that you can do this. Just spend a bit of time planning. Foundation. This is block number 1, okay? Click and collect groceries are my new addition. Yes, there are so many cool resources now. Once you've made up a meal plan, make up a few of them and then just recycle them over and over again. Like, seriously, find easy ways. It's all about reducing stress and sticking to a plan. Okay, number 2. Okay, crowding out the bad stuff, okay? So this is your crap food. I'm gonna do it like this. Blah. Okay, these are your processed foods. These are your high sugar foods. These are your donuts, guys. We need to get rid of the donuts. We need to get rid of all those refined sugars, things like grain-fed meats, and just like all those processed, highly processed meats, all the bad fats. So those trans fats, the what do you call them? Hydrogenated oils, vegetable oils, things like that. We need to get rid of all of those kind of things out of our diet, because those are not serving you in any way. I don't care if you've got adrenal fatigue or not. We should not be eating those foods, because those are what are causing all of these highly preventable and highly reversible chronic diseases that we're all dying from are coming from these crap foods. So get rid of those. They're not serving you at all, and they're forcing your adrenals to work really, really hard. They're always taking you a step back, okay? So think about that. Every time you put something in your mouth, are you going forward or are you going back? don't go back. You don't want to go back. You want to go forward, okay? So we get rid of all of this stuff. And that includes refined grains and flours, so breads and stuff like that too. All that stuff just converts to sugar in your body, and what you need less of is sugar load in your body, because that's making your body work really hard. And no GMOs. And actually, you've got to be really careful of fish as well. Large fish have lots of mercury, and heavy metal toxicity is also a contributor to adrenal fatigue. So if you're on a fish oil or something like that, I'd maybe have a think about that. I took my family off fish oil because of the mercury content and the rancidity and stuff like that. Okay, number 3. Oh, I wonder if I'm going to run out of room here. We're going to add in the abundance of the plant kingdom, okay? This is your bananas. These are your plant foods. Okay. So your plant foods are not your boring foods, okay? It doesn't mean you're eating salads for the rest of your life. Please don't fall down the hole of thinking that it means chewing on carrots for breakfast. That's not what whole foods looks like. But these foods, these plant kingdom foods, they are your absolute superfoods. These things are full of tens and tens of thousands of phytonutrients that are going to feed every single cell in your body. That is life. That's death. That's life. And you need to eat more life, because you need to bring life back to your body. So this is where you get that from, okay? They have living enzymes, they have fiber, they have good fats and protein, and they have it all in the exact quantities that your body can use and loves to use. They have inbuilt antioxidants to fight oxidative stress. So when you are very stressed and it's causing your adrenal fatigue, what you need is more of these to help combat the oxidative stress. That is the job of those. The plant foods are anti-inflammatory. There's a lot of inflammation going on in your body, especially if you eat a lot of wheat, dairy, other inflammatory foods. There's a buttload of inflammation going on in your body. So plant foods are the way to go. Okay, your next one, oh, I am going to run out of room. Okay, and your next one is, and you need to eat even more than these than you think, because remember that your body is not processing nutrients the right way because your stomach is in turmoil from your stress. So, Australians are not getting enough. We should be eating, they say we should be eating 2 to 5. We actually should be eating around 13 serves of fruit and veg a day. So if you've got adrenal fatigue, you need to be eating at least that much, right? You need to be getting heaps more than you think into your body every single day. Okay, the next one is meats. Oh my gosh, how do you draw a cow? That's not right. Here we go. Your meats and fats and proteins. I'm not going to even attempt to draw fat. I don't know what that looks like, and it might get offensive. So fats and proteins. So high quality meats means grass-fed meats, okay? Don't eat grain-fed meats. Eat grass-fed and finished meats. And good fats, that's all of your essential fatty acids, especially omega-3. So there have been studies that have shown people with insufficient adrenal output are low in omegas, but particularly omega-3. So there are other options out there for getting good quality vegan fats in. You don't actually have to get them from fish, because remember, fish, we have that mercury problem as well. So you can actually get omegas that are based on plant foods and algae rather than fish. So that's another way to do it as well. But even foods like avocado, macadamia oil, all those great foods have loads of good fats in them too. So you want to be doing that. And remember, you don't have to eat meat with every meal, just more plant foods. If you have lots of more room in your diet because you've cut out the crap and you've got lots more plant foods in your diet, you can make even more room for plant foods by just eating a little bit less meat, okay? So the goal is this. This is your big goal, okay? You want to be having that. Okay, and then the last one, this is your de-stress. Oh, I can't write very well up there. Okay, and this is where you let off steam. Can you see that? Put the fire out. This is where you start tackling all of that stress. That's where you want it to just like come out the top, let it out the chimney, and you want to start working on reducing the stress load in your body. Again, go back to net last week, so I'm not going to go through that because I'm already at 30 minutes. So, but you really want to target and work on that. And that's something you can do. Again, you have the resources to do that. Sometimes you just got to get creative, put in place some rituals every day. But that's the house. This is the house you want to build. It's got a good foundation. It's full of good things on the inside, and it's got room out there for stuff to just flow on out, so that you've got this incredible home going on for your body, this really cool, solid brick home going on right there. So that was the kind of the weird point behind that. That was not rehearsed. Would you believe that? I never practiced that. Amazing. She's so amazing. Okay, and here's the chimney wheel. You had the wine, just pour it right in there if you got it. Let me just see. Superfood powders to get added nutrients are great. And going back to simple foods, yeah, absolutely. Simple foods and listening to your body as well. Is all fish oil bad? The one I have says it's mercury free. My son and I both hate fish. Yeah, the problem with fish oils, is that you can't even actually be guaranteed that they eat the algae. So the fish don't have omegas in them. They eat algae and they get the omegas from the algae. So farmed fish may not even be fed algae. So it's really hard to know what you're getting. And the reason I stopped giving it to my kids is because if you're having the capsules, if they're using heat to fuse the capsules, they're actually making the fish oils go rancid. So heat does that because they're really delicate oils. So that's why I just went, no fish oils. I don't know what's going on in here. The whole ocean is completely polluted. There's plastic particles in every single milliliter of the ocean. We just can't trust it anymore. So I get mine from plant foods now. We stopped doing fish oils for that reason. And Silvana says, what is the best oil to cook with? My family aren't fans of coconut oil. You can use rice bran oil, macadamia oil. They're really good ones. You can also get, you can use ghee, which is clarified butter as well. That's really, really yummy. And it's high heat tolerant, so it won't oxidize at high heats. So those are my three favorites. And you can get another one that's coconut oil mixed with something else, and it tastes like butter. It's amazing. Wait, I've got it. Hold on, I'll show you. Here it is, this one. Organic coconut ghee tastes like butter. And it doesn't taste like coconut oil at all. It's really yummy. So that's my other option. But those are the ones that I use. And you can use avocado oil too, I think is high heat as well. Okay, so that's the 5 things. So if you would love to be part of the group that I'm in as well, we have loads of info around this stuff, all sorts of other things. Just you can just pop it in the comments. You can just say, yes, please, or add me, or whatever you feel like saying. Just chuck it in the chat and I'll send you an invite into the group. There's so much great info there. So many people just all on the journey of changing their health. There's free recipes, all sorts of things like that. So let me know. I can add you into that. If you have questions about anything I've gone through, if you want to know exactly how I did it, just message me and I can give you every single thing that I did, every supplement, I can even give you some of my meal plans, whatever you want. Just let me know. I'm really happy to help. Some of you already know I'm really happy to get on the phone and just have a talk, because I wish with all my heart that when I was really struggling, someone had just picked up the phone and said, I know how to help you. I think I would have cried tears of complete gratitude if someone had done that, but I didn't reach out and I didn't know who to ask, and I figured it out for myself. But I'm more than happy to just be there and help you and answer questions, and we can figure it out together. Okay, so that's it from me. Yeah. Oh, where do you buy it from? I bought mine online, but I'm sure a health food store would have it. And Nicole says, best thing I've learned is good health doesn't cost much money. And there's nothing you can invest in that's more important than your own health. And lots of people don't even think about that until they're really sick and they enter our sick care system and find it's extremely expensive. So you're exactly right. It's cheaper to invest in your health now than it is to invest into getting better from sickness later, for sure. All right, so that's it from me. Thanks so much, guys, and have a great night. I'll chat to you next week, and just ready to chat. And yeah, let me know if you want to be in the group too. I'll chuck you in. Thanks. Bye.